Hi guys. I had a thought that came into my head that really challenged me, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I kind of hope it challenges you as much as it challenged me. The thought was this: do you want to change, or are you just looking for a comfortable way to stay the same? I'm going to repeat it. Do you want to change, or are you just looking for a comfortable way to stay the same? Usually when we start to change in life, it's because we become uncomfortable. We don't like the way we look. We don't like the way we feel. We don't like our job. We don't like our car. We don't like our house. We don't like something. And we decide we want to change it. And so we're uncomfortable. And then we start to try to change. And as we get to a point where that discomfort of trying to change kind of matches that initial discomfort, that's where we tend to give up the most often. And sometimes that happens real quick, like when you decide on Friday that you want to give up sweets and Monday afternoon you are dying for a candy bar, you give up. Sometimes that takes longer. Sometimes it can take weeks or a couple months. You do really well for a while and then you start to fall off the bandwagon and it's a slippery slope. And what happened is you got uncomfortable again, and you got maybe as uncomfortable as you were before. You forgot how uncomfortable you were before. And you do this kind of pendulum thing. You get uncomfortable, you start to change, you get uncomfortable, you go back, and you go back and forth, and you get the up and down effect that I lived with for years. So, the problem becomes, we have to admit that in order to change, you're going to have to get really uncomfortable. So this idea years ago was presented to me of, what is your sacred cow? And I don't necessarily like that terminology for certain reasons, but there's a principle about giving up what you want to get something else, and you should always give your best, not your worst, not your least. You're giving up the best. So that's where this kind of comes from. What is the thing that is precious to you, that you want to hold on to at all costs, and that you're unwilling to give up? And so that question was asked to me years ago. What is your sacred cow? In every situation, when you want to change, figure out what your sacred cow is. What is the thing that you don't want to give up? So I'm going to use an example. You want to lose weight, but you love honey buns. And you have a honey bun every morning on your way to work, and it's the most delicious thing in the world to you. And if you have to give that up, you're not going to do it. And so you're like, I will do anything. I will eat vegetables all day long, but if I have to give up my honey bun, we're out. That's your sacred cow. Or if you're like, I want to run a marathon. The only free time I have to train is at 5 a.m. And if you think I'm getting out of bed 1 hour earlier than I do right now, you're crazy. There's your sacred cow. So you got to figure out what it is that you're like, I ain't going to do that. That might be the thing that you need to do. Whatever it is, it's going to make you uncomfortable. And the question I have for you, and the question that was posed to me, is how badly do you want to change? So, I used to think I was doing really good. I was eating better and everything else. And it took me years of going back and forth before I hit that point where I realized I really wasn't giving my best. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't think I'm still giving my best. And that's kind of crazy talk coming from a person who's lost over 100 pounds, right? But this more realization has been coming to me lately about how I hold back and how I don't necessarily push myself. I only push myself as hard as I have to in a moment, not necessarily as hard as I can. So challenging myself to say, what is it? Where am I still living in comfort? Where am I willing to get uncomfortable? Do I want to change? Or am I looking to stay as comfortable as I can and keep my life as the same as I can and still feel like I've done something or accomplished something? And so I don't want that level of discomfort over here to match that discomfort over here. Because I got pretty uncomfortable. And I think that's shown in all the change that I've made, how uncomfortable I was before. but I still have a road ahead of me, and I still have a lot of growing left to do. So it's a major challenge to me. But I wanted to pose that to you today. What are you unwilling to let go of? Do you just want a magic pill? Do you just want your life to be pretty much the same and still get what you want? And you know, somewhere inside of you, obviously, that's not the case. You're not losing 100 pounds and still eating at McDonald's every night. You know you're not going to run a marathon and sit on your couch eating bonbons. You might get in the marathon. You might even finish the marathon on a stretcher. Or is it that you want to save up the money to go on a trip somewhere, and you want to keep spending your money on all those nice new clothes that you're buying every week? It doesn't just have to be about weight loss or fitness or anything else. There's a million things that we want to do, that we want to change. You want to go to college, but you don't want to give up that evening time watching your favorite West Wing. Is West Wing still even on? I don't know. I don't watch TV anymore, people. You don't want to give up that cool Netflix binge watching that you're going to have to give up to do your homework. A million things I can think of. And it is extremely challenging for me. So I bring that to you today. Do you want to change? Do you really want to change? Or are you really just looking for the most comfortable way to stay the same? Because in order to change, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And it's probably going to be worse than the discomfort you feel in the beginning about your life before. It does get better eventually, I hear, I hope. It gets better. But, you willing to change? You tell me. Have a great night.